I think I should make this point clear, especially to the followers of Apostle Joshua Selman and Pastor Jerry Eze, so that they don't end up hating me for no reason. It's one thing to be hated for speaking the truth, and it's another to be hated because the message that you're trying to communicate is either being misinterpreted or is being misunderstood. When it comes to Apostle Joshua Selman and Pastor Jerry Eze, I have no bad blood for them. So much love for the two brothers, I promise you. There are so many people who look up to these two brothers. The reason why I keep calling them out, or the reason why I put pressure on them, especially with regards to their connection to Duncan Williams, is because I want them, I expect of them to denounce and clear the air so that the entire church can benefit, so that the entire church can understand their position. These two brothers received swords from Duncan Williams. Even you, the followers, don't you find that questionable? I just want us to have a decent conversation here without insulting each other. Let's reason together. Don't you find that out of the ordinary? Pastor Jerry is receiving a sword that we are still connecting to the Freemason. Apostle Joshua Selman receiving a sword that we are still connecting to the Freemason. We have all been speculating that it's a ritual. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with Christ. It has nothing to do with the body of Christ. It's something that is totally parallel to any practice that is within the Christendom. This is a man-made ritual. So what we are doing here is digging deeper to understand what does that ritual signify? Because if it does not align with Christian values and principles, then it must be signifying something that we should all understand. And Freemason was the closest cult to associate this ritual with. The reason why we associate Duncan with Freemason is because he comes from a family of Freemasons. His own biological father. I'll do a video and then I'll post the testimony of Duncan Williams' biological father, explaining that he is a Freemason, or he was, whatever the case may be, but he is a Freemason. So now Duncan comes and then he starts practicing rituals that are so aligned with the rituals of the Freemason, handing over swords that resemble or that have some hidden symbols of the Freemason. It leaves us wondering, how did the likes of Joshua Selman and Jerry Eze ended up submitting under such a man? This is just a matter of accountability. This is a very simple matter. This thing has gone around and around and around. Don't you think it has already reached Jerry Eze's ears? It has already reached Apostle Joshua Selman's ears that they are being accused of being members of the Freemason. Don't you think they are aware of those allegations? They are. As public figures, as figures that masses look up to, what is so difficult for them to come out and denounce all these allegations? What is so difficult of Joshua and Jerry to come out and say, listen, people, we are still serving under Christ. We are not affiliated in any way to the Freemason. Boldly so, why can't they do it? Why can't Joshua come and denounce the sword to say, listen, this sword has nothing to do with the Freemason. This is just an ordinary sword that I received from my spiritual father, Duncan Williams. That connection is still questionable. Because Duncan's hands are not that clean. Duncan is embroidered in so many cultish kind of things. But let's put that aside. All that Jerry and Joshua have to do is to come out and say, no, we have nothing to do with the Freemason. The swords, they don't represent anything. It was just a gift, or it was just an appreciation. Because during the ordination, Duncan Williams made it clear that I reserved this sword for specific individuals. What makes Joshua and Jerry so special that they had to be ordained with swords? My people, just think through this thing without getting emotional. I know how it feels when someone that you look up to is being dissected like this or is being investigated. But all I'm asking of you is take the emotions out of this whole thing, take sentiment out of this whole thing, and just look through these two figures, Jerry Eze and Joshua Selman, and ask the question that I'm asking. Why can't they come out publicly and denounce the Freemason? Not even denounce the Freemason if it's too difficult or if they don't want to be in some, in some battles with the Freemason community. They should just come and publicly make people understand that they are not affiliated to Freemason. That's all that they just have to do. It's about accountability. But I'll tell you something. For free, it's going to be difficult for them to do so because they are obligated to represent the Freemason cult. They are obligated to. They are in deep covenants. If they were not, they could have denounced all these allegations long time ago. If Jerry was not, he could have denounced it. Jerry has responded to almost everything that he was accused of. The what God cannot do chant, he responded to it, no. When Damina was talking about it, he said, no. Damina, go and start your own. Let's see if it goes. Let's see if it fly. Go and start your own chant. You can't come here and tell me that I should stop saying what God cannot do does not exist. But he has not yet addressed the issue of the sword. Joshua Selman, in all the interviews that he has conducted, he makes it a point that whoever is interviewing him, they don't touch that issue of the sword. That question is always omitted, but it is the main thing that is surrounding Joshua Selman and Jerry Eze at the moment. Why do they not address it? Why don't they want to put their mouth on the matter? Because you can't disgrace your bosses, never. You can't. The Freemason have an agenda. And they would rather leave you people confused and wondering whether these guys are actually their members or they are not. Because that's how they spread their message. That's how they infiltrate systems. They come through the back door and they use people that you trust so much. They make offers to them. And they get in bed with them. And then they start pushing, propagating their agenda to the masses. Why can't they say no to it? Why can't they say just, no, we're not. We are not. They will not. They will never. I promise you this now. I promise you. Jerry will never denounce the Freemason. Jerry will never talk about the sword. Selman will never denounce the Freemason, and he will never talk about that sword. Never. He can talk about why he is single, why he is not yet married, any other thing, but he will never talk about the sword. Because them denouncing the Freemason in public, what happened to Didi will happen to them as well. Didi is behind bars now. Simply because he tried to go against the big forces. He offended the bosses. They give you power and they control you. The moment you want to try to resist, that's when they'll show you their true colors. Okay, let me not conclude on their response or if they will ever address this issue of the sword or their association with the Freemason. Let me just leave it to chance and challenge these two brothers to say, my brothers, we love you so much. We have no hate. This heart is full of love. It's love that we have for you that is pushing us to push you in a corner. Because the Freemason will never allow you to, to say no to them in public. They play. And I love this whole idea of bringing this whole thing up constantly so that we make it difficult even for them to show their symbols in different places. Because now they are becoming conscious each and every time. And on the other side, they'll be getting pressure from the bosses to say, no, we want you to spread our message. We want you to penetrate. We want you to be showing our symbols on whatever, through your stages or your hand signals. And on this side, we are also pushing them. Every time they do events, we are taking everything out. We are picking up, every Freemason kind of symbolism and we bring it up. So now they'll be left in between. They don't know really what to do. The bosses want them to spread the message. And here, Mr. PDT and other people, we are saying, no, man, we have seen a Freemason symbol here. So at one point, they'll break. So we don't know which side they'll break. If they are going to break and make it public that they are part of the Freemason, then we are hands off. We leave them alone. We'll never touch them. We'll never talk about them anymore. Our only problem is they should not come in the name of Christ. They should not come masquerading as ambassadors of Christ, yet they are ambassadors of a different organization. If they declare today, tomorrow, any other day that, okay, yes, we are members of the Freemasons, we will never talk about them. It's their right to choose whatever cult they want to belong to. That's just my point. I don't know if you get me. I don't know if you understand me. But we don't hate the brothers. We just want them to be accountable. So tell me what you think in the comments.